This Katakuri leader that came out in set 11 is all about minusing Dawn to activate his future sight, seeing what's in the opponent's deck before they even know it. Is it good? Well, let's talk about it. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. Mobby here, and today I'm going to be giving you my deck profile for this Charlotta Katakuri deck that came out in OP11. Make sure to like and subscribe, it really helps out the channel. I upload daily duels and deck profiles for different anime TCGs. Alright guys, so let's get into it. This is going to be a video breakdown talking about every single card and how it works in the deck. If you just want the deck list, stop the video, head on over to my website, mobytcg.com. There you can see the full deck list, the text for every deck we cover here on the channel, and more. So let's talk about the game plan before we jump on in. This revolves all around using your leader ability pretty much mostly on your turn in order to continue ramping and knowing what your opponent is going to be drawing next and give you an advantage. Then going into the late game, you want to be using your 8-drop Katakuri in order to bolster your units, make sure they stay on the board and outvalue your opponent. So let's go ahead and talk about every single card, starting with the leader. So, Katakuri came out in OP11, 5,000 liter Big Mom Pirates with 5 life. So you can activate this when you're attacking on your turn or when your opponent attacks on their turn once per turn. You can -1 Dawn, then look at the top of your opponent's deck, then give this leader plus 1,000 for the battle. Now it's important to know that your opponent doesn't know what it is, though, you know, it doesn't matter that much, but it could, you know, if they knew what it was, they can alter their plays. So this doesn't say reveal, it just says look at it. Then this gets 1,000. You don't have to attach a Dawn to him, which is really nice. The -1 Dawn is a little annoying. However, you are running a lot of cards in here that allows you to get Dawn back and or ramp up. So let's see. Oh yeah, really quick, it's super good. This leader ability is amazing. If you're able to use this 3 or 4 turns in a row, you know the next 3 or 4 cards in your opponent's deck. So you can see how many counters they have. If you know they're gonna drop a big card, knowing what they're, knowing what's in their hand is extremely powerful. It's a really good leader ability. And we're gonna start from the lowest to high cost. And we're going to start with these Charlotte Pudding. And once again, if you guys want to download your own proxies, I Photoshop these all myself. I translate them and I host them on my website before any other websites do, so you can get them right away. Okay, so this is Pudding from OP11. This is a SR. This is 101 on play. Look at the top 5 and grab a 2-cost or higher Big Mom Pirate character card and put it into your hand, and the rest go to the bottom. It's a decent card. You can actually use it in the other Pudding as well, the purple yellow. So if you want, you can have 4 searching cards. Actually, this is probably better than the yellow one, because that yellow one searches for a Sanji and a Big Mom. However, it's 4 cards. Well, this one also has an ability. So I'm thinking I might run, I might try another Pudding deck, and I'm gonna put this one in there, because the other ability here is also really good. So activate main, -1 Dawn, then rest this character to look at the top card of your opponent's deck. Now, I think in this deck, it's not really that important because you have the ability to do it anyway. The only difference is this one is when, activate main, and this one is when attacking. So if there's any reason that you want to know before you attack, then this would be good. But in general, it's good for the searching. The top 5, it's a good counter, it's a really low card, and basically in Pudding, there's a lot of cards as well that you're gonna have. Like, you're gonna have the 3-drop Puddings and the 5-cost Eustace Kids to make sure whenever you minus the Dawn, you're gonna get Dawn back. So it's not even that bad in a deck where you're gonna be running those very specific cards. So a really interesting card with the versatility. Now we have this new event. This is from OP11 as well. So I accidentally put OP over here. I need to switch that. So basically, this is a new counter. Check this out. You can declare a cost, then reveal 1 card from the top of your opponent's deck. If the revealed card has the same cost, meaning you guessed correctly, up to one of your leader or character cards gets plus 5,000 power during this battle. The trigger is drawing a card. So really nice cards. Basically, yes, you have to have 1 Dawn on your opponent's turn, but it basically, super late game, your opponent is going to know that you're going to play this. However, they have to play around a 5,000. So if your opponent attacks, you can go ahead and activate the when attacking, which is, getting rid of 1 Dawn. In order to look at the top, you get plus 1,000. You know what's coming up next on their other turn. Then you can go ahead and activate this right after that to guess correctly on top. And then boom, you get 6,000 counter power if they attack your leader, otherwise 5,000 if they attack another character. Extremely powerful card. We're running 4 of these because when you're using these late games and you have an extra Dawn, there's no way that you're probably not gonna use it. It's so powerful. Okay, in this deck there's no 2 costs. We're right now running Charlotte Bruley. This is another new card from OP11. So this is a 3/4/1. So on play, you can go ahead and add the top card of your life to your hand. Then if your leader is Big Mom Pirates, you can ramp 1 Dawn. So this is interesting. You know, I'm not sure if I would run this in the pudding because in that deck, you're already at 4 life. But using it on the curve is actually not bad with this Katakuri, because you start at 5 life. So you know, basically think of it as playing the 5-drop, the 5-cost Luffy leader, where you would add a card to your hand to ramp 1 as active. This is kind of like that, except you have a card to put down, and it's only 1 more Dawn to make it 5,000 to attack in future turns. So it's not the worst, and on curve, it's not bad. So we're running 4 of these because ramping early, especially if you are going first, your best card in the deck is gonna be that 8-drop Katakuri. So you want to go from 3 to 4, and then the next turn 6, and then 8. If you're already going seconds and you go you know, turn 2 and 4, you have an option to playing this, but you maybe not. Now let's move on to one of our first 2Ks of the deck. This is Uso Hachi from starter deck 18. This is 3/3/2. On play, if you have 8 or more Dawns on your field, you can rest a 5 cost or less. Not a big mom card, but it doesn't really matter. You want to run these in decks that, you know, don't rely on too much synergy, which this deck, you know, it's okay. But any deck that ramps up and stays up, this is a really good card to put in. So you can go ahead and on play for 3, rest 85-drop or lower blocker, and then go for game. That's how this card is usually played in the deck. Otherwise, a really nice 2K. Now for another 2K of the deck, this is Charlotte Strusen from OP11. 3/3/2. Activate main once per turn, -1 Dawn. And remember, anything on your turn minusing 1 Dawn isn't the worst because you have that 3-drop pudding and you have that 5-cost blocker kid. Anyway, you can also rest this character, then declare a cost and from your opponent's deck, and if you guess right, rest a 4 or less. So basically, it's almost like an Uso Hachi in this deck. However, this one's searchable. It only does a 4 instead of a 5, and you don't have to make 8 Dawn. So running both of these in here as a full playset for the versatility. Now, one of your key cards of the deck, this is Pudding that came out in OP08. 3/4/1. Your turn once per turn. When a Dawn card is returned, you can go ahead and ramp 1 rested. Works perfectly with your leader. So depending on what you drew your very first turn, if you're going first, Bruley for ramping. And if you don't, I would say absolutely get Bruley first over the pudding. However, if you don't have any in your hand and you end up getting the pudding, it's not the worst. You can go ahead and put the pudding down, attack somebody or the leader with their ability for 6,000, then you ramp 1 up so you actually don't lose tempo. All right, now it's another new card from OP11. This is Charlotte Oven. 4/5/1. Activate main, you can rest this character, declare at the top. Then, if they have the same cost, you can KO a 3 cost, which is, you know, okay, you'll see it sometimes. However, the important one here is add up to 1 Dawn from your Dawn deck and rest it. So this isn't that crazy unless you already have 1 pudding on the board. Otherwise, you're basically have to use this to know what it is. Then you use this to ramp up 1. So it's a very decent card. It's not crazy. I think it works better a little bit late game. Because, you know, as just an extra attacker on the board. And actually, anything that is 3+ cost, that's a big mom pirate, is pretty good. Because you get the benefit of the 8-drop Katakuri, which we'll talk about in a bit. But yeah, this is an okay card. If your opponent runs a lot of small stuff, yeah, then you know it's really good. It's a really good card in that regard. Now, Kid, this is a really good card for the deck. All right, so OP05/5/6/1 innate blocker once per turn. When a Dawn is returned, add 1 back as active. So it's just a better pudding. It's just a better pudding in all sense. You know, more damage. Obviously, it costs more, obviously, but yeah. It's a blocker, and you set 1 as active, so it lets you do a lot more stuff. So if you can have 1 Captain Kid, 1 Charlotte Pudding on the board, you go 3/5, and then boom, you just go ham. So it's really good. Oh my god, these cards are really good. So 100% you run 4 of these. Now, if you don't have these, What's another good 5 cost? It's going to be this new Charlotte Sparrow. This is from OP11 as well. So 570, so it's a brick in your hand. Activate main once per turn. You can trash 1 card, declare a cost, and if you get it right, you draw 1, then you ramp 1 is active. So it's kind of like this. It's very interesting. And once again, because it's a big mom pirate, you're going to be able to restand it after you attack thanks to the 8-drop Katakuri. Also, this one's good too because it allows you to sift through bricks in your hand. Because you get to draw 1 and you get to trash 1 and draw 1. So that's a really great card. 7,000 power as well. Now for a new type of card that they added in OP11. Check this guys out. Check this out, guys. This is from OP11 6/7 counter 2. It's a vanilla with 2 counters. This is Charlotte Daifuku Big Mom Pirate. So I'm running 2 in these in order to just have a little bit more 2Ks. We're running 10 exactly. We have the 4 Uso Hachis, we have the 4 Strusens, and now we're running these ones. It's also good for filling out the curve because, you know, I think it wouldn't be that important for this type of card to be on the board itself, but because it is a big Pirates card that can be restanded, if you really don't have a 6 cost you want to drop, you have this one to throw on the board on curve in order to attack 7,000. Now we have another new card. This is Cognac Mama Mash, or I think it might be called Emperor Conqueror's Blade when it comes down to English. It's from OP11. I messed this one up again. So main, declare cost, reveal the top. If you get it right, you get to KO a character with an original cost of 8 or less. So yeah, if you know anything that drops 9, 10 plus, unfortunately not. But this is really good in the meta right now, especially against black decks. You can get rid of a Jack, because even though the Jack, it's going to be plus 4 costs on the board, making it 11. This is the original cost of 8. So it's a little, it's okay. You might want to think about running you know, the what the hell, what's the other one? It's the other 6 cost that requires you to have a big mom, and then you can KO 2 cards that are 6 or less. However, that minuses 2 Dawn, so if you play this on curve with the -2 Dawn, you're not going to have enough Dawn in order to play Katakuri unless the previous turn you have, let's say, a Katakuri, or you have the pudding on the field. So this one's okay. I'm going to try running it and we'll see what happens. The trigger is add 1 active, which is always good. If you can always get a free ramp, that's great. Now for the big star of the deck, here we go. Katakuri from OP11. This is the alternate art. So 880 has an 8 blocker. End of your turn, set up to 2 big mom type characters with a cost of 3 or more is active, then ramp 1 rested. Now remember, this is not a cost. You can just go all the way down and do everything you want. Set up to 2. You can set up to 0, set up to 1, set up to 2, even itself, which is very good. So you're going to get a lot of benefits for anything that you play before. For example, if you play like this before, like I talked about, and you play this the turn after, you can attack with a 7, throw him out, and then have this come back up so your opponent can't really attack into them. Obviously, they can KO it and stuff, but, you know, it's better than having them attack straight into it. You can't use it for the Captain Kid, but you can do stuff like the Oven, which any card that's a big mom, they're going to get more value with Katakuri in the deck. And, you know, this one is also resting. This is a resting to ramp. Also, you can just attack for 5. It's really good for putting too, because you really want putting on the board. However, if it's you know, you have to put 1 Dawn to get the 5 in attack, and then it's very vulnerable to, you know, attack at 4,000 originally, which is, you know, really good for Katakuri. You can just restand it, etc. So really great card, good blocker. I was thinking of adding in let me show you guys here. I was thinking of adding in these Katakuris here. This is from OP08, but I don't know. I'm not sure how I feel about these kind of cards where you have to have specifically 2 cards in your hand. So remember, this one's not in the deck, but this is a 2/3/1. Activate main, trash this character. If your leader is Big Mom Pirates, which it is, you can go ahead and play Katakuri from your hand with a cost of 3 or more that is equal to or less than the number of Dawn that your opponent has on the field. So on the turn that your opponent has 8, 9, or 10, you can play this from your hand, and then you can trash this for 2 in order to summon an A cost, which is amazing. However, the only reason I'm not running it right now is I feel like it's going to be a little inconsistent. You have to have specifically both of these in your hand, and while you're waiting for your opponent to get 8 Dawn, you might not be able to play this on the turn that you have 8 Dawn over your opponent, etc. So it's an okay card. It would fill your 2 cost here, but I decided I want to try some other stuff. So let me know down below what do you guys think about this. I feel like if they came out with more Katakuris that are purple that work in this deck, I would maybe run this. There is the 6-drop Katakuri, which this originally was made for. However, that card works better in pudding than it would in this deck. So honestly, I would run this in the pudding deck because you can have this card, you can have the 6-drop Katakuri and the 8-drop one. You have more options, but it's 4 cards that work with 4 cards in this deck, and that's the only reason I'm not running it. Oh, there's also this promo card, which I got, but I didn't really put in the deck. So basically, this is a new one. It's not really out yet. But yeah, promo card, Big Mom 771. Opponent's turn on KO, you minus a Don. You play one Big Mom character other than Smoothie, equal or less than your opponent's Don on the board. I thought this would be a good card, but on KO, your opponent's turn, unless they specifically get rid of it with like an effect, you're most likely going to be restanding most stuff with Katakuri, so this isn't going to get KO'd as often as you would want. So that's the reason why we're not running that. There's also these new 2Ks from OP11, Mont d'Or. It's just a really crappy 2K. You could put these in here if you want more searching capabilities, but the effect is garbage. Rest, so your opponent places 2 cards from their trash back in their deck, which it's whatever. Then you self-hurt, which sucks. So this is garbage. Remove this for Usohachi, you know. But anyways, that is... Oh yeah, there's more cards. I was gonna say that's the deck. No, so yeah, this Katakuri, a lot of stuff to work around it. It's kind of crazy. Now for one of your best cards other than Katakuri to be used, it's a Charlotte Linlin from OP11 990 on play -1 dodge trash 1 card, good for, you know, getting rid of a lot of bricks. You go ahead and heal 1, then add up to one of your opponent's characters 6 or less to the top or bottom of their life face up. So there's a lot of like decks these days that have to do with face up cards, face down cards. So you just got to be very wary. Make sure you don't activate triggers. You know, you just got to really make an educated decision of whether or not you want it to put on top or bottom of the opponents. But yeah, this is a really good card. And remember, anything that's 3+ cost can be active. So you can play this the following turn after Katakuri, and then, you know, wait, attack, restand it, etc. So it's good. It's a good card to heal, restand, and it's going to stay on the board a lot longer now. Then the final card of the deck, we're only running 2 of these because I don't think it's that great, and there's a couple of reasons. So this is Linlin. This is and the reason why it's because it's only a rare, right? But it's a 10-12-0. If your leader is Big Mom, you get Rush. So 12,010 Rush. Pretty good. On your opponent's attack, though, you can -5 Dawn. You can declare a cost, and if you get it right, one of your leaders gets 2,000 power during the turn. -5 Dawn on your opponent's turn doesn't activate the pudding or the kid, so you can't get your Dawn back that way. Honestly, there's no way to get Dawn back on your opponent's turn with this deck. So you would -5, then on your next turn you would go ramp up to 7, you know, assuming you play this on your 10 Dawn, right? Then you won't be able to play, for example, your Katakuri. So this deck is okay. It's good because you can attack, and if you have a Katakuri on the board, you can restand it again. So that's like a really good reason to put this in here. But if you have 10 Dawn, you throw this out, you won't be able to use your really amazing counter power. So that's the reason we're only running 2 in here. They're good for closing out games, you know, assuming your opponent doesn't have a blocker or anything, but the effect itself isn't that good. But yeah, restanding 12,000 every turn is not bad. So we're running 2 of these. So that's it, guys. That's the Katakuri deck that I'm running. I've played this a couple times and I think it's okay. I feel like there's room for improvement, but you can let me know down in the comments below what you would add or what you would remove. I'm open to suggestions, and if we can make a better deck, then so be it. Let me know. I'll come back with a video in the future and revise and let you know how it works. So thank you so much for watching. This is a interesting deck. I feel like it's not overpowered at all, but the effect, the knowledge of you knowing what's going to be in your opponent's hand is so good, especially knowing the specific counter powers and stuff. It's just amazing. So once again, my website for all of the proxies, you can download them all in English, and yeah, the deck profile. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.